a friend of mine. I'm not sure if you know of who Giovannie Yanez is.
I have not met him. I know him, and I know a lot of people that are like in the circle and all that kind of crap.
Uh
But
huh.
I have heard about this next topic
Yes, and
for
apparently I
sure.
have linked the wrong thing there. So let me see if I can't
You
find what.
sure did.
Yeah, I want to talk about this because I have been online friends with Giovanni for a minute. It's been a while. I don't know how I met him through people, I would imagine.
Hmm.
But this kid has absolutely exploded over the last couple of years in popularity, rightfully so. He's a fantastic songwriter. And I'll tell you what, man, it's so hard to come out of the state of Texas in the rock genre and make it somewhere else,
Yes.
you know. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit, and yeah, we'll just go forward with it. Giovanni and the Hired Guns frontman Giovannie Yanez has checked himself into a rehabilitation center. This is as of May 15th, 2024. With the band announcing the cancellation of some of their upcoming tour dates, the group has issued a statement about the decision and how it impacts them moving forward. In their statement, the band notes, quote, "This morning our brother and leader Giovanni took a huge step and made the decision to check himself into a rehabilitation center. We support him 100%, and we want the best for our friend. And right now he needs time to focus on his health and well-being. We're going to give him whatever time he needs and stand by him throughout the entire process. We're not sure how long that will take, but whatever it is, we'll support him."
I saw them.
So let's see here. I know Giovanni had put out something as well. I don't know. That may have just been on his private Facebook though, so I don't want to share that if it's not published in the press. So I'm not going to share what Giovanni said in his on his own Facebook because again that could be private. I don't know. So I don't want to do that and
That
not.
post that was a really good statement from the other guys.
Yeah, and I'm glad that he's doing that. I know that, and Katie will attest to this. It is really, really hard to be a touring musician and not feed an addiction if you have one.
And it is so easy to pick one up.
Yep. And I'm not even just talking about drugs and alcohol here. There's all kinds of other addictions like food and sex and gambling and
And rock and
rock
roll.
and roll, the music itself. Like, there's just so many toxic things to get wrapped up into when you're on the road. It's so difficult. So, number one, I'm really happy that Giovanni has recognized that he has a problem and has tried to, send himself to a place where hopefully he will get the help he needs. Because he's a phenomenal guy, and I do wish the best for him for sure.
Absolutely. I you, I absolutely agree. Like for someone to recognize that it's a problem and then take the steps forward to fix that problem or help that problem, that in itself is just huge.
Yeah, and coming from somebody who's been around addiction for a really really long time, and I don't know the specific aspects to this situation. I'm not speaking of that. I'm speaking in general. It's really hard to battle an addiction, um, in because what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to like move myself to where I'm going, but um, a lot of times when you have an addiction and you don't know you need help, the people that love you will give you ultimatums. Do this or I won't be here, or I'm leaving, I'm gone, I'm not going to deal with this anymore. And so, a lot of times when somebody is dealing with an addiction and they do go get help, a lot of times or sometimes it can be because of an ultimatum or an interaction with a loved one that has put them on that path. And that's
And not
usually
prepared. Yeah.
right, and it's not coming from within. And a lot of times when that's the case, it's usually not successful. Really, you have to be the one that is
Absolutely.
that is that's starting the change, that's triggering the change, that wants to do something to better yourself.
I've seen it over and over again. People all around me, with addictions or issues and trying to overcome those, but just not, especially because the ultimatums and just doing it because, oh, well, this person said they're going to leave or this person, all that kind of stuff. And that's almost always
Yep.
what happens.
Or I
And
did this
unless
because of my label, or I did this because of radio, or I did this because of the tour, or I did this because of the.
Yep.
Well, it's typically not going to work that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because a lot of times the reason why you're addicted to something is because of fear already. So, like, trying to institute fear to somebody who's addicted to somebody is not going to work. It just doesn't. They might try to placate you and all of that, but eventually, if they're not doing it for themselves, you're going to see that loop effect where it's
Absolutely.
destruction and then try to get better, and then destruction and then rehabilitation and then destruction. And I hope that Giovannie is doing this for him. I hope he
I
can get
agree.
through this. I hope he can heal. And I hope we see amazingness from him in the future, because he is that good, for real.